This is my 10-gallon quarantine tank that I made to go in this space. If you saw part 1, you know my goal was to make a quarantine tank that looked intentional, since they tend to be the kind of thing that you just throw together as an afterthought or like a temporary holding space that nobody's going to see. But I wanted one that wouldn't gross somebody out if they needed to use my restroom or stress me out every time I went in there. So that's what I did. I made a relaxing tank that was still functional for quarantine with all plastic or glass decor and zero substrate. So my next step is to start preparing the water for the fish. And there's a number of ways you can do this, but I wanted to try to do it without any of the shortcuts. And so that basically meant a lot of testing and waiting. So the first thing I did in my part 1 video was to add my Fritz Complete water conditioner and Fritzzyme 7 live nitrifying bacteria. And I just followed the directions on their website for setting up a new system, which means adding 4 ounces of the bacteria instead of the regular 2 to start the seeding process on the tank. And what will happen is you're going to start to see a change in these 2 factors, which is your nitrate and your nitrite. And that's a good thing. That means your nitrogen cycle has started. So you just want to keep testing your water daily. As you're going to see, my nitrates are at 0, but my nitrites are a little high, which isn't terrible, but ideally you want that to be reversed. That purple is just a little too dark, and that second pink square right there is just a little too pink for my liking. So what we can do is a few things in this situation. The first thing is to do a big water change. And don't worry, this won't disrupt the seeding process because your bacteria is on everything in the tank. But what we're hoping to do is dilute the amount of nitrites in the water column. So big water change is good, at least 50%, even more. And I just want to mention here that a lot of times during this process, you'll get an algae bloom, meaning one day you're going to wake up and you're going to check it and the tank will be all cloudy. And that's perfectly normal. Just wait it out, maybe a week or so. Keep the light off and it should clear up on its own. The second thing we do to lower our nitrites is to add more live bacteria. If you don't have Fritz, you can use this Tetra Safe Start, and I just poured the whole bottle in because it's kind of hard to overdo the good bacteria at this point, especially since this is a quarantine tank and those usually don't have any live plants, which would normally help. Thirdly, because you don't have any plants, you can actually add some aquarium salt, which is what I did because I had fish arriving the next day. So this will help bind the nitrites and protect the fish so they don't absorb them. And the way I do this is by adding it to a cup of warm water and letting it dissolve as much as possible before straining it through a net. And lastly, it's really important to add more air. This will actually multiply the specific bacteria that consumes the nitrites. So now what you'll see is that we have finally reversed our spike and lowered the nitrites to an acceptable level, which will mean that your nitrates are now a little higher, but that's okay because they're a little safer for your fish than the nitrites. So you'll see that second square will look much better and closer to 0 once you add fish to your tank because they provide the third and final element of the nitrogen cycle, which is ammonia. So then you'll finally be able to close that loop back around and achieve your ideal balance of minimal nitrates and 0 nitrites. But for now, our nitrogen cycle is complete and our water is safe and ready to go just in time for the arrival of our first guests.